Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to the morning show. The sun is shining, Pete Wilson.
I haven't looked, so it is, right?
The sun is shining. The birds, well, I think they're still away for the winter, but they're not chirping.
Okay, so
Hopefully in another month or so.
So did that groundhog know what he was doing the
I
other
hope
day?
so.
Okay.
I hope that groundhog's spot on.
Okay,
We'll take it.
So far, so good, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at the future weather forecast, and it looks like 50s this week and 40s next week. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's not too bad for February.
Okay, cage that groundhog. We'll bring him back next
Yeah,
year.
we like that groundhog.
That groundhog.
Whichever groundhog it is, we like.
Puxatawny Phil, we salute you.
Yes, absolutely. But we are not here to talk about groundhogs. We are here to give you the news, which I know there's always a lot of, especially after the weekend. So oh my God. Well, welcome to this week's edition of Can Porter Pull It Off? Because here he comes.
An interloper, but a friendly interloper.
We do. Oh, okay. So you're wondering why?
I'm on vacation, Ma.
Oh,
Down in
no.
Jamaica, Ma. Come join me. Yeah, Ma.
Oh my God. So you've got your Rastafarian hat on, which you're standing in front of a green screen.
No,
so
I'm not.
therefore
I'm
you're
standing in Jamaica.
in Jamaica. There we go.
What happened?
Where did Jamaica go?
Jamaica, Ma. Bring back Jamaica, Ma. Where's it at? Look,
Yeah.
There we go.
That was cool. Look at your power. I don't know. Can Porter pull it off?
Did I pull it off? Look, my green screen, my hat is
Yes,
green screen
it's
too.
yes. It's a little bit rough.
Vote now. Did Porter pull it off? The Rasta hat? I don't know.
Can Porter pull it off? All right, let's get rid of Jamaica one more time.
Hold on a sec. I'm slow with this stuff. Wrong one. This is gonna take a minute.
Dylan, get rid of Jamaica there. There we go. Well, okay, do a turn so everyone can see.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Did Porter pull it off?
I think so.
I think so.
I vote yes, he did.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did you knit that yourself?
No, actually, JJ's wife Trisha knitted this.
Trisha made it for you?
She's knitted me several different styles of hats so far. I've got
Trisha's a
couple.
sweetheart.
She is.
I mean, she does live with JJ. She has to be a
Right.
sweetheart.
JJ won't wear her creation, so I will. Yeah.
Makes total sense. I think she should knit you a cowboy hat next.
No, that would be great. She probably will.
All right. Well, you have our vote, Porter. You did well today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good job. All right. Back to the news. Did Porter pull it off in your eyes? Let us know.
How am I supposed to follow that?
I don't know.
We just took our TV audience to friendly, sunny,
I know,
blue
Jamaica.
skies Jamaica.
Jamaica, man.
Okay, and now we're back here. However, remember,
Every teen Irie.
remember, Puxatawny Phil did give us better weather
He
conditions.
did.
So it could be worse.
See, the palm trees are fitting for that as well.
That's right. That's
We're
right.
going to go for it.
Okay. Well, we're going to start off the news by kind of following up on kind of what was our big story on Friday. Remember, Jeremiah Shaver was down on the scene
Yeah.
of the Amnesty Day, which they kind of tagged as Groundhog Day because it took place on Groundhog Day last Friday, February 2nd. But it was the Amnesty Day.
Yes.
That was held by Jackson County Municipal Court Judge Mark Music. I know he was the originator and the spearhead, and he had a lot of help. His staff, other volunteers. He had the Justice Bus come in with some criminal defense attorneys to help with the legal help there.
Okay.
I think the bus came in from Zanesville,
Yep.
I was told. But they had that, and of course the cooperation of Seth Michael, the Jackson County Clerk of
Yep.
Courts, and BMV, local BMV director, to handle some of the driver's license suspensions
Yeah, it was
and
such a
blocks
good
and like that.
idea.
But anyway, Judge Music is working on a report that he's going to share with Total Media, and we'll have a more detailed story on that when all is known. But I wanted to at least get the initial his initial analysis of how it went, and he is very pleased. Don't have numbers to give you,
deal.
but Derek Kales, who is one of the main members of his staff, he's been with Mark for some time.
Yes.
He commented, and Mark passed this along to me in a text, that Derek Hill said this was the busiest day in Jackson County Municipal Court that he can remember.
Wow.
And, there's lots of
That's saying
There's
something.
lots of activity. There's a lot of cases that come through court on some of the main days where they're hearing cases and having appearances and so forth. But Derek Hill thought it was the busiest day that he can ever remember. But once again, Amnesty Day was an opportunity for people who have non-felony warrants to get them removed or to start the process over, so this is not hanging over their heads. They don't have to worry about being arrested and thrown in jail because they have a warrant, and also to take care of some of the driver's license situations which may be related to that warrant or
Yes.
to something separate.
They all kind of go hand in hand.
Right, but anyway, according to what Judge Music told me last night, he said that it was wildly successful, and that in addition to the large turnout, he was delighted that the system seemed to work as well as it did. They not only had a good turnout, but this was the first time they had done this. It was almost seamless in how it did. They had different sections addressing different things, and they had so many people, even though it went pretty well. They did this all day. It went so well, and they had such a turnout that at the end of the day, when the end of the day came and, people had to go home, there was still 30 people, about 30 that had not been seen. Now,
Wow.
This was a one-day thing, but because they showed up, Judge Music is scheduling other times for those 30 people to come in, and they will have, their cases looked
Yeah,
at
that's super
for-
cool.
For having, their warrants removed and their driver's license situation straightened out. And that may be, individual times and appointments, or they may have another day. Not sure about that part.
Yeah.
Yet. But the bottom line was, and this was, Judge going out on a limb on this, as far as it working and all like that, how many people were going to show up?
Yeah.
Would people be responsible enough to show up when they had a chance to get things fixed? Were they going to be able to hear about it?
Right.
Were
Did it get
were
out
they
and
gonna be
about in the
free to
community?
come and all like that? Well, apparently, I know that they're not going to get all the people that have those non-felony warrants, but they got quite a few.
That's great.
So in the Telegram, we're going to have a shorter report, a summary report on the radio, reflective of some of the things I've just said. But we'll have a more detailed report, when Judge crunches numbers and statistics and like that, we'll know the numbers. But I think it was successful beyond what they were hoping for.
Good deal.
So that was Amnesty Day at the Jackson County Municipal Court. Okay, one of the other things we want to tell you about is that tomorrow it's going to be the second meeting of the newly organized Jackson County Tourism Board.
Okay.
This is the tourism board that was formed through the county commissioners. It's got some different folks on it. Kay Howe is the chairman of that. But the idea was to generate money that can be used to promote tourism in Jackson County. This is different than the tourism board, the Visitors and Convention Bureau board that works out of the city of Jackson.
Yeah.
And they have different sources to get funding, but one of them will be the so-called bed and lodging tax that can be collected outside the cities as well, because there's lots of cabins and rentals and lodging and air hubs that we may not know of that operate out there, that are small operations. But anyway, they're also going to look for grants as well. But one of the things they talked about at the January meeting was looking at Raccoon Creek and some of the railroad beds around Raccoon Creek to turn these into bike paths,
Yes.
trails, and like
Please.
that.
That would be
And try to
fantastic.
have maybe linkages with other already existing trails. Because one of the things that John Stabler, who is helping to drive this through the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, he knows that this has become a big deal
Yes.
in Athens County
It
and
is
Washington County and like that.
Huge.
Recreational trails, people riding bikes and all like that. And what it does is, it's not only a recreation thing, a driver for recreation, it is a driver for tourism.
It sure is.
Because
And
you have people from outside the area that's
Absolutely.
looking for places to come. And, we do have a lot of outdoor beauty. One of the themes of this tourism board that they're hitting on, not just for the local public, but certainly for potential tourism, is that Jackson County has a lot to offer. It isn't
yeah.
just- it isn't that there's nothing there. We already have the outdoors. It's just developing some of the things that will draw people here, like these trails. So that's one of the things they're looking at. They're looking at a website to promote tourism called Explore Jackson, Ohio. They're also looking on doing projects to clean up the county, to make it so it's more inviting, to the people coming in, maybe involving some local groups, youth groups, 4-H groups, and helping with that. It's very preliminary right now, but I know that group is very excited about what they can do, and they feel that Jackson County has kind of been left behind on tourism potential.
yeah.
They will have a meeting tomorrow, by the way, the third meeting. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, it will be the second meeting of the tourism board. They had initial meetings when they were forming, the group that was going to form it. But the group itself, the board itself, this will be their second meeting. They meet monthly. It has been the first Tuesday of the month so far. And they will have a meeting tomorrow. And we have been covering those meetings, and we will continue to do so to let you know what's going on. All right, another thing that we want to tell you about is that, and we hope to have this story in the paper this week, perhaps on Wednesday. Still not sure all the schedule of when these stories are going to go in, but it's certainly worth reporting and noting here. The city of Jackson, if Mayor Randy Evans, gets the support of council, and I expect that he will because he has in the past, he wants to put the renewal or extension of the city income tax on the ballot in the November election, the November 5 election. We remember that the 1.5% city income tax was passed in 2020. That was the first year that Randy was in office. And he had a sunset clause in there, and he decided to put it in there. He could have.
Has it been since 2020 already?
Yes, it has been. 2020.
I would have said it was in like a year ago.
Right. No, I know. It just time flies, dear. But this is the fourth full year that the tax has been on.
Okay.
So it really does not expire until the end of 2025. But Randy wants to put it on a year early for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you put a tax levy or a tax issue on early, if it would fail, you've got more time to get it passed before your income comes off. So that's maybe part of it. But for him, the main reason is planning. How can you decide about street paving beyond 2025, infrastructure projects that require extra money that you wouldn't have if the income tax wasn't there, if you don't plan ahead of time? So he doesn't want to have it passed in 2025, if it would pass, and then think of what you're going to do in 2026. You got to work out a little bit ahead of time.
Yep.
So therefore, expect to see that on the election. I think council will have to approve that, but it will be according to Mayor Evans, and he kind of announced this at the State of the City speech back on January 22nd. I talked with him after that for some extra details, but it would still be the 1.5% income tax. It would be divided half between the police department, because it is the main funding for the police department.
Yes.
Remember, the police department took some major cuts because of lack of funding, and they were able to not put it back to where it was several years ago, but recover most of those positions, and they feel it's adequate. And then the other half would be for the general fund, mainly infrastructure improvement projects, and that has mainly been the city paving program that's made such an impact already. But Randy says that it will take probably 10 years to do all the paving that needs to be done. So and then,
Then start over
and then-
again.
right, and then
Yeah.
start all over again. So he's hoping that people will be pleased with what's happened with the city and connect, feel like it was worth it, and they will get support. You know, it didn't pass overwhelmingly, but it wasn't a nail biter either.
Right.
You know, 54% it did pass, and in the past it had not passed.
No, it did not.
So there was different controversies going on then, you know, that I think hurt it. But he realized less than half a year into his first year that, you know, there was just so much that needed to be done that could not be done without local money.
Yep.
So the other thing that's going to be changed if, once again, council goes along with what Randy would like, is that the half that goes to the police department, he wants to include the fire department on that. So
Okay.
income tax money can be used for the fire department. Right now, there's 2 fire levies that support the fire department. It's not enough even though we don't have a full-time fire department, it's not enough. So they have to throw some general fund money over there. This
Oh,
would
okay.
allow him to use some of the money to do more for the fire department.
But would that take away from the police department then?
Well, apparently, there is enough money coming into the income tax that would not be an issue.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
Gotcha.
the income tax in 2023 brought in $4.2 million.
Holy
And this
moly.
is, you know, I'm not sure what their projections are, but this is well beyond what they were estimating when it started.
Okay.
I mean, they were talking between, 1.5
Yeah,
and
they
2
were
million at
talking
the
in
best.
the one ranges. Yeah.
And so, you know, his sales pitch that he always makes, and Randy Heath did the same thing when he was a proponent of the income tax, even though it never passed. Most of the money comes in from non-city residents. So because if you live in Jackson, you got the income tax. That is true. But if you live outside of Jackson but work in Jackson, you've also got the income tax. So Jackson is not a huge place, but it is a little bit of a commercial center for Jackson County.
Sure.
So if you live between Jackson and Oak Hill, and you come to work in Jackson, wherever, you're subject to
Yes.
the tax. And that's where the majority of the money actually comes. So it's kind of a shared thing. So anyway, we can look for that happening. The council, I'm sure, will have to approve putting that on the ballot. But once again, I think that they're all pleased with what has happened because of the income tax. All right, a couple of things to report from the fire front. There was a camper fire on Friday morning. It closed State Route 279 for a short time east of Oak Hill, just east of the
Yeah.
village line there. Well, we got with the Madison Jefferson Fire Chief, Jeff Heff. By the way, he's new. He was chosen by the firefighters to be the fire chief for the next 2 years, and he started on January 1st. And he is, we hope to do a story on Jeff, but he is very well qualified. His full-time job is with the State Fire Marshal's Office as
Oh, yeah, he probably knows then.
as
huh?
a specialized investigator.
Okay.
And he's been on the fire department for a long time anyway, but he's been willing to take that very important job of fire chief on. But anyway, I talked to him, and in the very early morning hours, about 6:40 a.m., they were called to a location on State Route 279 just outside the village of Oak Hill East Side, where a unoccupied camper had caught fire there along the highway. And they don't know how the fire started. At the time I talked to him, they had not pinned down the ownership of the camper, but they were able to put it out immediately. However, you know, the camper was completely destroyed, and they had to close the highway for a short time because it was right there at the big curve there going outside of Oak Hill on
Yes.
279, and there was concern of traffic coming from the one direction where
sense.
they'd be a little blind to all those trucks
Yeah.
parked along the road, or maybe in the road. I'm not sure where they
It's
had
a
to
dangerous
park.
place anyway,
Right,
let
but
alone.
it wasn't for very long, maybe for about a half an hour that they had to close the road, or even a little bit shorter. Also, we don't have details on this, but I can confirm that there was a fire, that the Wellston Fire Department was
Yeah.
on the scene yesterday afternoon, mid-afternoon. I believe the address was 1444 South Pennsylvania Avenue, a residence on the far south side. The name I was given by a reliable source was the Ed Martin residence. And apparently there was a fire that we understand that was in the basement. They did call some extra fire departments on mutual aid because this was a residential structure. The fire department was able to successfully put that out. I happened to be passing by at that time took a picture, and you couldn't tell that there was a fire just looking at the house. So
Yeah.
the fire department obviously did a good job getting to that fire and stopping it before, it spread or caused too much damage throughout the house at
Okay.
least. So we hope to get some details on that, but if you heard the sirens yesterday afternoon in Wellston, that's what it was, a structure fire at a residence on South Pennsylvania
You always
Avenue.
hate to hear that one.
Right, in Wellston. All right, we have been following, Jennifer, the story about the proposal to put a Phoenix Treatment Center in the Iron Oak Center in
Yes.
Oak Hill. We've already had a couple stories on that, and this would be I couldn't confirm it the first day. You asked a very good question, and I was unable to answer it, but it will be both inpatient and outpatient. So, you're talking about a residential treatment center, 24 beds in there. There'll be some counseling, I think, that will go on as well. And this is for, recovering people on substance abuse
Sure.
or whatever. Some of them may have been, had a criminal background or whatever, and this is part of them getting straightened up. Well, at a council meeting, the last Oak Hill Village Council meeting, the word got out. There was an anonymous letter that got in the hands of some residents. Also, a letter from a McConnellsville resident about a drug treatment center, not Phoenix Treatment Center, but a different one that's all the way up in McConnellsville
Yeah.
in Morgan County, who thought that it was, that had negative.
Was not
experience with
happy
that.
about it,
Right,
yeah.
right. And, it should be said, this is not a Phoenix Treatment Center, and so it's maybe apples and oranges. But anyway, some of the residents and neighbors there, the majority of people who came to that council meeting, were opposed to the Phoenix Treatment Center going in. Now, this is a private building owned by Patrick Ball, and the Phoenix Treatment Center may be able to go in there anyway. However, there's a question about zoning because it's in a residential area. Adena, which operates a health clinic there that's been very popular in Oak Hill, did get a variance way back when. I understand that there's been a couple other businesses that did not get a variance and they're in there. So the question is, do they need a variance to be able to go in there? Well, that would throw it in the hands of Oak Hill Village Council. And do they think the facility is a good thing and should go in? And if they don't have a problem with Adena, do they not have a problem with this? Or because
Right.
of some of the opposition, should they not grant the variance because some people don't want it there? Okay, well, we've had 2 stories already on this, and we've got another one coming Wednesday, and this is going to cover some of the things that the Phoenix Treatment Center, the folks with the Phoenix Treatment Center, has said on why it would be a good thing in trying to allay some of these concerns and fears that we've heard from neighbors and residents.
Okay.
They say they're going to be very careful. They feel they have a good track record, Phoenix Treatment Center. We're going to run a letter from Eddie Philbon, who is the CEO and president, top executive with Phoenix Treatment Center.
Okay.
So we're going to have that side of it. Patrick
Because
Ball.
they deserve to be heard as well.
Right, and there
you
was
know?
some concern that Adena may not want to stay if there's a treatment center in that same building, and I've been told that that's not the case. Now we
That
hope,
wouldn't make any sense. You'd think helping people is.
right. I hope to hear from Adena on that. I've got a contact to check that out. But Patrick Ball, when he spoke at that council meeting, made it very clear that he feels that Adena is. He did not want to speak for Adena, but he said through his communications that he has, and his understanding is that they are 100% committed to Oak Hill,
Yeah.
and that they're not going to leave just because a treatment center is there.
Okay.
There's always going to be, business decisions that are made that are separate from that, but treatment center is not going to prompt Adena to not be there. So anyway, look, many sides to this story. The next Oak Hill Village Council meeting is on February 12th. Between now and then, Solicitor Joe Kirby is researching the zoning code and trying to determine, do they have to have a variance? And, if they don't have to have a variance, is there anything that would keep them from coming?
Sure.
Or would they not want to come if there's a lot of opposition? And with Patrick Ball, I know Patrick Ball wants everybody, he wants everybody to feel that it's a good thing, not a bad thing, that this treatment
Right,
center
correct.
is coming. So anyway, that's a story certainly that we want to be out on front of as well as behind on. And so we've got another story going in Wednesday's paper on that, as well as that letter from Eddie Philbon.
Okay.
And he, of course, is the top executive for the Phoenix Center. The Phoenix Center does operate several other similar facilities, including a counseling center in Jackson. That is not a residential center. It's on McCarty Lane, but it is a counseling outpatient operation. They do both.
Okay.
All right. There was a big coming out party for the economic development that was held on January 29th, just a week ago. And Sam Brady and the Economic Development Partnership was the host. Jeremiah Shaver went there, and he has done a lot of work covering this. As a matter of fact, he wrote 3 stories, not just one.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to report on the first one. And it is basically covering the speech of the main keynote speaker, and that is Lydia Mihalik, who is the executive director, or the director, I think is her title, of the Ohio Department of Development. She is, if you're an economic development partnership, an economic development agency, you can't do much better than getting the head the head person from the Ohio Department of
pretty
Development.
good.
I think, Dylan, we've got a picture of her, if you can find it there, so we can show that she was indeed there, Lydia Mihalik.
And we did show the video that Jeremiah did as well here last week sometime. So if you missed it, you can go back and hear what she had to say as well. There she is.
All right, but there is Lydia. She was the mayor of Findlay, and she is holding three fingers up there.
Better than one finger, Pete.
Right, exactly. She's holding 3 fingers because she's basically talking about the 3 things you have to do to be successful with economic development. And so she praised the work of the regional arm of economic development, which is the Southeast Ohio Development, and of course the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, and the JCEDP, as we often use the acronym, has been very successful with economic development initiatives, many of which we may not always hear about because of the nature of the business. But anyway, we hope to have the first part of that story in our next paper. And then we'll have follow-ups, including what the local people had to say about economic development projects. That would include Sam Brady. And also, we'll hear about the James A. Rhodes Leadership Award, which is presented to a local person who has been a big supporter or enabler of economic development. We'll keep that a secret right now on who that is. Although if you were there, you know. But anyway, also John Kerry, our own John Kerry, who is from Wellston and the director of the Ohio Appalachian Department.
Got to see him the other day. I hadn't seen him in a while. It's nice to catch up.
Right, I saw him too locally as well.
Yep.
But anyway, he is a good ally to have, and he actually was the person who introduced Lydia Mihalik, the governor's office of Appalachia, to get that title right on his agency. All right, so we're getting close to the political season. We are in the political season, I think. Right. You heard some commercials, you're getting some flyers, you're getting lobbied.
Yeah.
But anyway, on March the 19th, that is the primary election, and some of the early voting, if you're military, that has to start early before regular folks get to vote early. That has actually already started, and within a month of that election, we will hear about the details on early voting, registering to vote before that early voting period, and of course absentee voting. We'll hear all about that. It'll be coming up here in the next week or two. But speaking of events, the Vinton County Republican Party had a meet and greet event that Red Thompson Jr. attended, and they had quite a few candidates come up, local and regional, and there was one state candidate that came out, and that was Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Frank LaRose is running for the United States Senate seat that is currently held by United States Senator Sherrod Brown, who is a Democrat.
Okay,
So this is a very big race in the state of Ohio. There is Frank LaRose. We have seen him in Jackson and Vinton counties many times before, but
He was on the show not too long ago, I feel like.
okay. I think he was.
He
but
stopped by here.
But that was when he was wearing the Ohio Secretary of State's hat.
Yep.
Now he would love to wear in 2025 the United States Senate cap. This is a big race, obviously, on the ballot throughout the state of Ohio, but it's also a big one nationally because of how close the majorities are in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. You remember, the Democrats have a 51 to 49 advantage, or 50 to 49 advantage, I think, and there's one independent, and then you throw in the Vice President, Kamala Harris, who is a Democrat. It's a very small edge there. So if the United States Senate seat in Ohio gets flipped to the Republicans, that could change a lot. Now, there's more than just this seat, but this is one that is considered kind of a toss-up type thing. Brown has been elected several terms, but Ohio has leaned a little bit on the red side in recent elections. Not a lot, but a little.
Yep.
So there'll be a lot of attention in Ohio on this. But Frank LaRose spoke, And I guess one of the things he said, since he was the highest profile speaker, is he feels that he is the best suited candidate to beat Sherrod Brown. Bernie Moreno is also a Republican candidate. He has the endorsement of former President Donald Trump. And Matt Dolan, who ran for United States Senate 2 years ago, did not get elected, did not get nominated. He is a third candidate. Remember, he was in Jackson not too long ago. So anyway, three-way race for Republicans against who was going to run against Sherrod Brown. But anyway, at this... But anyway, in addition to the other Republican, in addition to Frank LaRose, there were other Republican candidates that were there as well. I'll just go down the list of some of those that were there.
Did we have pictures of this, Pete?
We do have pictures, right?
Dylan's not in the room, though.
Right. Well, in addition...
Dylan, you're missing.
Pictures, sir. From the Republican event in Vinton County, Mark Johnson was a high House of Representatives candidate. Ryan Kane is running for Vinton County Sheriff, unopposed. Mark Fout and William Wellman, who are current, that is Mark Johnson right there. Thank you, Dylan. Mark Fout and William Wellman, there's two other group pictures that you can put up there, Dylan. There's too many people to mention there, but we'll show everybody who was there. There's Frank LaRose on the end of that picture. That particular picture also shows some other local candidates, including Charles Pittman, who is running for Vinton County Commissioner, Kevin Kozad, who is running for Vinton County Commissioner, Jeremiah Griffith, the sitting clerk of courts, Bill Archer, who is the Vinton County prosecutor, and on the end, that is Alex Kidd. He's not running for anything, but his dad is, Larry Kidd, for Congress, and of course, he is from Jackson County. And then the other group picture, there you go, Dylan, thank you. The flash is on the face of Erin Yates, but trust me, she's there. She is the Vinton County recorder there on the far left. And then next to her is Jeffrey Harper III, who's running for Vinton County Commissioner. Then Derek Myers, who's running for Congressman. Mark Johnson, of course, who is the state representative. Then you have Sheriff Ryan Kane. You have incumbent Vinton County Commissioner Mark Fout, Vinton County Sheriff Ryan Kane. And then on the end is Jim Payne, who is the Vinton County Common Pleas judge. So all these candidates got a chance to be seen, and all the candidates got a chance to be heard as well. Red Thompson, who is so busy, worked very hard on this story, and we will have that in our Wednesday paper. You can see all the pictures and see a little bit of what some of the main candidates had to say. Speaking of some other political events that are coming up, locally, and we'll be hearing more about that in the media and in the telegram for sure. The Jackson County Democrats are going to have a meet and greet event on Sunday, February the 18th at the 6 Cents. You probably know about that. If you don't, you should. All right, but the Jackson County Democrats are going to have a meet and greet at 11 a.m. They're going to have a number of candidates there. I think they're going to have one of the Supreme Court candidates, and they expect to have both of the congressional candidates there as well. We hope to get some more information there as well about that event, but it is 11 a.m. on Saturday or Sunday, February 18th, open to the public, not just, if you're a candidate or whatever.
Right.
Then on March the 2nd, and we're still getting some information on that, don't have very many details, but the Vinton County, some folks in Vinton County, I'm not sure it's the party, I'm sure the party supports it, but there is going to be a Trump parade. Now, we had this 4 years ago when Donald Trump ran for president.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, well,
it was wild. It was very well attended. Let's put it that way.
It was. I remember doing some
I'd
video
forgotten
when
about
it came
that.
through Jackson, but I believe it's going to go through more than one county, maybe starting in Vinton County and maybe ending in Vinton County. Not sure on that, but we'll get the details. But it's going to be Saturday, March the 2nd, and I think it kicks off at 1 p.m.
Okay.
But it's being organized through Vinton County, and we hope to get some more information on that. But just to let you know that those things are coming. And then, of course, the primary itself is on March the 19th. All right, Dylan, the next thing we're going to go from politics to candy. And we're talking about the chocolate walk in downtown Jackson. And our own Alex Shope was there. I don't know whether he wanted candy or he was just willing to work.
Yeah, I'll volunteer for the chocolate walk.
He held up his hand and went, and it was on.
Suffered through it, I'm sure.
Yes, right. It was from 4 to 7 p.m. on Thursday. And Dylan is going to put up some pictures from that.
I can't find them so far, but I'm going to try and find it.
Okay. All right, but anyway, the chocolate walk was from 4 to 7 p.m. and it was by the Jackson downtown. So there should be the last email that came from Alex Dylan.
I never got any emails from Alex.
Okay, all right. Well, we won't show.
Okay.
But-
there was chocolate.
But yes,
There were people.
right. The Jackson Downtown Association did it. It was one of their what they call their first Thursday events.
Yeah.
On most first Thursdays, certainly when the weather is good, they're going to be doing something downtown.
Yes.
Usually a theme type event. But the idea is to get people downtown to see the local businesses and office. It's to generate some business. Often there are street vendors there as well, in addition to the brick and mortar downtown people. Sometimes in good weather, you'll see food trucks there as well. Sometimes you even see live entertainment.
That's right.
Usually the chocolate walk, the chocolate is enough to get people down there because it's like trick or treat in
It is.
February.
Yep.
And it's a chance for a $7 ticket to get a heck of a lot of candy. And it probably also generates some back-end business for the local dentists as well.
You'd hope so.
Right.
I mean, or not, but yeah.
All right.
We'll ask Dr. Morris about that, won't we?
Right, we certainly will. But some other nice news that we have to report, the Jackson VFW Post. Some of our veterans groups, even though they do a lot of service to veterans and they provide a place for veterans to go show socially and receive some support services and all like that, some of these local veterans groups are very good about doing things in the community. A lot of people don't hear about it. So we want to tell you about a project that the Jackson Veterans of Foreign Wars Post does, the VFW.
Okay.
It's called the Voice of Democracy and the Patriots Pen Contest. And this is the Patriots Pen Contest. The Patriots Pen Contest, just hold that picture there for a minute, Dylan. It is the Patriots Pen is a essay competition open to students in grades 6 through 8 that encourages young people to examine America's history and the modern society. Students do a 300 to 400 word essay. Well, this young lady in the center is the winner of the local Patriots Pen event. She is Jalen Ewing, who is an 8th grader at Christian Life Academy. And she's pictured there with the VFW president. No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. That is I've got them mixed up. That is the Voice of Democracy winner. I'm sorry. There's Patriots Pen for the younger folks, and then there's for the high school kids, there's the Voice of Democracy. This is the Voice of Democracy picture. The winner of that was Kaya Tripp.
Kaya.
Kaya, okay, well, see, he knows. He corrected me. Kaya Tripp. She's in the center, and she is flanked by Jackson VFW quartermaster Greg Roseberry, who I thank for getting me the information and the pictures, and Jackson VFW Commander Phil Howe. And the Voice of Democracy is a themed event, and you are supposed to do a video speech on what are the greatest attributes of our democracy. Kaya is the daughter of Michael Tripp, and she was the winner of the Voice of Democracy in Jackson County. She is a sophomore at Jackson High School. She received a check for $200 from the VFW Post and a $100 check from the Jackson Auxiliary VFW.
I want to start writing essays.
All right. Patriots Pen, we'll go to that picture now, Dylan, if you would. Patriots Pen is for the younger group, grades 6 through 8. It is an essay contest with a 300 to 400 word essay, and the winner here was Jalen Ewing. Now she is in the center there, holding the check, and she is flanked by Quartermaster Greg Roseberry, and also by the auxiliary president of the VFW, Renee Roseberry, there on the left, and she won a $200 check from the VFW and a $100 check from the auxiliary as well. And both of them, I believe, will go on to a higher level of competition in the VFW where they will get a chance for more recognition and rewards.
Love that.
But that article and pictures was in our Saturday paper, by the way, and it's posted on thetelegramnews.com.
So I emailed Alex, and he got back with me very quickly. So here's some of the pictures.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, here are the chocolate walk pictures we'll show now. This is, I know in the center that is Brian Howe. I'm guessing maybe some family members with him. They were among the ticket buyers who made the rounds downtown, and there they are in one of the businesses. A lot of folks were there, Brian and his family, and was just one of them. And that is in Michael's Ice Cream. And on the right is Mika Moeller. Mika is, the owner-operator of Michael's Ice Cream, and she is definitely one of the spearheads of the Jackson Downtown Association.
Yeah.
Does a great job decorating her business, and she also is a great organizer well. And she is always one of the main organizers of these events downtown and the activities that the Jackson Downtown Association does. And this is a group shot of a group. You can see a lot of those folks are holding bags there in front of one of the local businesses after they've just come out or going in. And, on the participating businesses, and you'd be surprised, many of them do this. Many of them participate, even though it means them being open a little bit later. They were there, and, you go in and you get some form of chocolate.
Yes.
That's the idea. Maybe it's candy, maybe it's cupcakes, maybe it's muffins. Who knows what it is, but the theme is chocolate. So we hope to have some pictures from that event in one of our papers this week as well. All right, we go back to another group that exists for a reason. They have a mission, but they also try to do good things for the community. And this would be the Jackson County Sportsman Federation. This is a group of outdoor sports hunting groups. That's why they call it a federation. There's more than one group's involved. Well, they had a banquet in mid-January, late January, that Red Thompson Jr. was there as well. And one of the things they did was award scholarships. And there were 3 students who won scholarships: Tyler Yeager of Jackson High School, Gavin Howe of Oak Hill High School, and Josh Jackson of Wellston High School. This picture is of Josh Jackson from Wellston High School on the left, and Gavin Howe from Oak Hill High School on the right. Now, for what they had to do to be the winner is they had to show interest in hunting the outdoors. They also must complete an essay that describes a hunting, trapping, or outdoor experience and attach a copy of their hunting or fishing license or their hunter education course to show that they really are involved. Now, what they got out of it, this wasn't bad, was a $1,000 scholarship.
What?
How about that?
That is
So you can see why they
awesome.
get participation. A $1,000 scholarship. Not unable to attend was Taylor Yeager from Jackson High School. But we had this article ran in our Saturday paper along with some other information and pictures from the banquet. But they had a big auction where they auctioned off some art and some guns and like that, and it raised some money for the different things that they do. They had raffles as well. Harold Newkirk, who is a Jackson City councilman, was one of the organizers. He said it was very successful. 150 people showed up, spent a lot of money for a nice catered meal there at Park's Edge. But they raised money. They raised money for hunters and landowners' rights, youth sports programs, nature conservation. And it also, of course, supports the scholarships that we just told you about. So the Federation, that's the Jackson County Sportsman Federation, and their big annual banquet. We always try to attend that. Mm-hmm. All right, we will go to sports now. Those basketballs are bouncing. And last Saturday, once again, we've got to tip our hat to the Jackson Iron Ladies girls basketball team. Remember, they went to Chillicothe with a 9-0 record. They'd already won the undisputed championship. So
That's
they're
right.
champions 3 years in a row. But do you think they want to finish 9-1, or do you want to finish?
No, they were dead set on finishing undefeated.
Right. Well,
In the league.
Final score: Jackson 66, Chillicothe 31.
Oh, wow.
They went on.
Holy moly.
They went on the opponent's course. So if you think they're complacent or going through the motions,
Wow.
I think they wanted to finish it off.
I
with
think
an
they did.
Exclamation point. I think we have a. There they
Way to go, girls.
have to show their picture. Some of the senior players are shown in the front in white. Some of the younger players are dressed in red in the back. And, of course, you got the coaches there. We've got to credit them. Head coach Matt Walburn seated on the far right. Assistant coach Madison Jones on the far left. And then in the back row, you've got assistant coaches on the far left, Tyler Jeffers and Monty Gilliland. And then on the far right, Chad Carpenter. And, of course, you've got all the players as well. So I believe they're either 17-2 and 18-2 now. Isn't that something? And they finished 10-0, and they get what they call the gold ball.
Yes.
So you not only get a
Awesome.
championship trophy, but you get what's called the gold ball. To get that, though, you have to win every conference game.
That
They've
is
done
so
that
cool.
2 years in a row, and they've won the championship 3 years in a row. this is a senior-laden team with 4 senior starters, and they have not lost a game in the conference since their sophomore season. So I think they've won 22 conference games in a row. Now, these are schools that are about the size of Jackson: Miami Trace, Washington Courthouse, Greenfield, McLean, Chillicothe, and Hillsborough. And they have not had one misstep along the way. And I tell you what, you got a long season. It's 22 games now. Do you think you're going to be at your best every night? Do you think that the other teams, because of what you are and who you are gunning for you every time?
I think so.
Right. So we can't say enough good things about
they're
these girls
awesome.
and the coaching staff. Speaking of the girls, yesterday they did the basketball tournament brackets and drawings. We know now where our girls are going in the tournaments, all 4 of them. We're talking about the Iron Ladies, we're talking about the Lady Oaks, we're talking about the Lady Golden Rockets, we're talking about the Lady Vikings. This year, we have that list already on our website, by the way, on where our teams are playing the first game. Remember, it's one and done. You're not allowed to lose. If you lose, you go home and you pack away the jerseys and all like that, and you think about next year. But anyway, the tournament starts next week, as early as Monday, February 12th. 3 of our teams play on that date. But this year, I want to preface the schedule by telling you that they decided on the pairings, the seeds. The seeds are where you stand on the bracket. Each team gets rated, and the best teams play, the worst teams, and then you keep going on the tournament. That's the idea. Well, they've done that in the past with a vote of the coaches. This year, they did it on what they call a ratings percentage index, where it was mathematical. It was something that Max Preps came up with, which is a sports website. It is based on 40% winning percentage, your winning percentage, 35% opponent's winning percentage, and get this, 25% of your opponent's winning percentage.
What?
I'd like to know who's got the calculator out on that one.
Who's figuring that all up?
Right. Well, somebody did, and somebody has, and it's been determined. But the Jackson girls are rated 6th in their district, in the Division II district, and it's a very tough district.
Yeah.
But their first game will be on Saturday, February the 17th. That's a week from next Saturday, 6:15 p.m. at Chillicothe High School. It's not home. It's not away. It's on a neutral court. It will be against Hillsborough, who is 11th seeded. That means that they're favored in that game on paper. They did beat Hillsborough twice during the regular season. I will tell you that if they win that game, they'll probably be playing a team that is rated above them. That's how good the district is in Division II girls. The Lady Vikings, the Wellston Lady Golden Rockets are both in Division II as well. The Lady Vikings are seeded 15th, and they will actually get to play at home their first game. They will play 18th seeded Washington Courthouse at 6:15 p.m. on Monday, February the 12th. That's a week from today in a first-round sectional game. The Wellston Lady Golden Rockets are seeded 19th. They will play on the road at 14th seeded Fairfield Union. That's a long trip into Fairfield County, and they will play at 7 p.m. in a first-round game on, once again, Monday, February 12th. The Oak Hill Lady Oaks are in Division III, one division down size-wise, enrollment-wise. They are the 31st seed. That is because there's so many teams in Division III. They will play at 18th seeded Wheelersburg, also on Monday, February 12th at 7 p.m. in a first-round game. Now, the radio plans to broadcast all the tournament games. We've got 3 of them going on at the same time on the same night. So we'll have to figure that one out.
Oh, my. Yeah.
Oak Hill, Wellston, and Vinton County all play at 7 p.m. on Monday, February the 12th. If they win, they would go on to the next game, but that's the deal. And then Jackson plays the following Saturday. So you ask about the boys. The boys' tournament draw will not be decided until next Sunday. They are basically 1 week behind the girls.
Gotcha.
All right, and speaking of some games that will be on the radio tonight, we will have the Nelsonville at Wellston girls game. That will be on 105.3 FM. Then on Tuesday, tomorrow night, we'll have the Western at Oak Hill boys game. That'll be on WCJO. And the Waterford at Wellston boys game. That will be on WKOV. And then on February the 7th, this game was not originally on our schedule, but we're going to do it. The Jackson girls will play Unioto at home, and that should be on WKOV on Wednesday evening. Unioto is one of those teams ahead of Jackson. So that'll be an interesting matchup right there. Last year, Unioto defeated Jackson fairly easily at Unioto, and they have, I understand, about the same team back. So it'll
Okay.
be a big challenge and help get Jackson ready for the tournament. Also, we'll go down the stretch here. The Vinton County Board of Elections wanted everybody to know that they are going to have a meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Elections Board office. Their meetings are sometimes on different dates, so they want the public to know that they're meeting, so that's tomorrow. Also, Jackson County Engineer Melissa Miller has announced that Smoky Hollow has announced that Rock Run Road in Liberty Township, a section of that will be closed starting on Monday, February 12th. Not today, but starting next Monday.
Okay.
This is the section of Rock Run Road that dead ends into Lake Catherine property. So if you're, coming off I don't know what road that is, but the road that goes down, you turn down to go to Lake Catherine, it's that section of road that will be closed to replace 3 bad culverts that need replaced and also soft places in the roadbed. That work should take approximately 2 weeks, and it will depend on the weather,
Yes,
of course.
of course.
But that starts next Monday. Also, Smoky Hollow Road, which is in Bloomfield Township, it had been closed. It reopened on Friday and for the weekend, but it's closed again now.
Okay.
When they wanted to keep it open as much as possible, but they haven't finished, and they will be closed again starting today for about a week. That's the section of Smoky Hollow Road in Bloomfield Township. Also, Loop Road in Washington Township, which had been closed, did open last Friday, and it should be open for good now. That work is done. All right, do not forget about the Animal Shelter Free Adoption Day taking place this Sunday at the Benton County Dog Shelter. This is a adoption day where you can adopt one of those doggies there, do a rescue, and it's not going to cost you very much at all. It's a one-day thing, 1 p.m. starting there at the dog shelter on State Route 93 north of MacArthur. Honeysuckle Salon of Wellston is helping make that possible, as well as the Vinton County Commissioners. But you'll be able to adopt a dog. The shots will be paid for by the Vinton County Commissioners. There's the 5-in-1 shots that you always have to have, and they will also cover microchipping costs.
Yes.
So what a deal to be able to
good value
get a dog.
for
It's gonna
sure.
cost you a lot less than it would if you go to a pet store, right?
Yes.
All right, the Hope United Methodist Church is having a free community dinner this Wednesday evening. We sometimes say this on the TV, but we wanted to say it for sure this week because initially this was reported as a lunch, but it's actually a dinner. It's going to be in the evening from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. This is open to everybody, Jennifer. It's just not the people who need a meal, but it's social as well. Anybody can come. The church has done this as a community outreach thing. The church is located at the corner of 1st Street and New York Avenue, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. How's this sound? Lasagna, salad, bread, and dessert
Sold.
free. How's that
I'm
sound?
sold.
All right, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Definitely.
You can come in and eat at the church. You can do delivery or takeout service as well.
Yep, that sounds great.
All right, and of course, there's not much time to sign up for the St. David's Day Luncheon. It's going to be Saturday, March 2nd in Oak Hill. If you have Welsh Heritage, you want to celebrate Welsh Heritage, this is a super event. It's at noon. It will be at the Oak Hill Presbyterian Church. You have to sign up for tickets in advance. You can visit welshmuseum.com.
They always sell that one out too.
Right, and you can also call Rio Grande University and the Mad Dog Center down there. That number is 740-245-7186. And we have this information. We repeat it in the paper as well. All right, also, I think we had Mitch Costello in here the other day
Yes.
to talk about the Jaffe Spring Dance.
Yep.
This is always a super event.
It's fun.
Right, it's going to be on Saturday, March the 9th. You need to get your tickets ahead of time. You just probably don't walk in. I'm guessing you don't anyway. Or if you do, we don't know that yet. Saturday, March 9th, it's going to be at the Jackson Memorial Building in the auditorium beginning at 8 p.m. The cost is $30. Rick Kay and the All-Nighters will perform, and I've heard them before. They do a great
They're awesome.
They do a great
They're
job
fun.
with the oldies. You can get individual tickets or get a reserved table, a business or a social group, family. Costs $200, so you save a little bit of money there.
Yep.
You can also do a corporate advertising table, 8 tickets for $300 if you want to support Jaffe. And Jaffe does
They do a
lot
lot.
of wonderful things, the Apple Festival and so much more. You can also give Mitch a call at 740-418-0195 to purchase tickets, and he can tell you a lot more than what we can. And once again, this information will be in the paper and on our website as well.
Very good.
So there we are.
All right. Well, that sums it up, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Man, you're full of all kind of information today.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yes. And that's a good thing
Right.
for a news guy.
Yes, okay.
All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for hanging with us this morning. We greatly appreciate it. And we have to get out of here for the day. Tomorrow we have a special show for you. Our good friend Tanya will be back, and we're going to cook up something tomorrow.
Okay. Well, put it this way. This is just the firsthand testimony. I've sampled some of Tanya's cooking before. So
Pretty good stuff. So we're going to have a cooking segment.
right. I don't know
tomorrow.
when her employee review comes, but I'm weighing in her favor.
Waiting on that, huh?
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow where you can find something good to eat, maybe. Bye-bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at TheTelegramNews.com.
Check it out.